Not your average tabletop. Woohoo!
Welcome back to Not Your Average Tabletop. I'm Zach.
And I'm Pepper.
And today we're going to be giving our first impressions on Heaven and Ale. After one play.
After one.
Yes, so...
That's why it's first impressions.
that is true. But yeah, I guess getting into it, I think you probably kind of knew that this was a game that I'd been interested in for
You look
quite
at it
some time.
every single time we would go to our local game store.
That is
You're
true.
Like, what's this? What's the price? Same as the
Same
last
as
10
last
times
time.
I checked it. It's like,
That
maybe
may
he's
have been
interested
true.
in this game.
It's just I think ever since I heard the name, it's one of those names. I have some of them that just I don't know, they just interest me, make me interested in the game.
Yeah.
And this
For
one's got a little bit of a Euro-y look to some of the artwork, but at the same time, it's kind of got a little nice color to it, so kind of gives it that extra bit of shine for me.
Yeah, as you can see, there's kind of got, if you look at the people too closely, it's very Euro-y looking, but kind of got a colorful stained glass type look for the cover, which I really liked. I wasn't as excited as you, just based on the actual game, but I know this surprisingly made it into... I don't know if I think it was in Z Garcia's top 100, which if you just kind of told me Heaven and Ale, I'd think like, that's not going to be a Z Garcia game. But the fact that he's the one who liked it and probably liked it the most of the Dice Tower crew had me interested in the game, because I'm like, I like a lot of the games that he likes, and I'm a huge fan of Bruno Catala, so am I, and kind of clever things in games, and I'm like, maybe there's something in here.
Maybe Bruno helped make this
maybe
game.
he was, is he in the credits here? But yeah, so that kind of shocked me a little bit, and also got me interested in it.
Yeah, I really liked the fact that it was kind of a rondel style game where you're also placing out tiles, and kind of depending on where you're placing out tiles, they kind of can do two different things. That idea just sounded really cool to me, and it sounded like it just had some neat extra things that happen or you can kind of do and kind of happen throughout the game as well. It just seemed like overall it was going to be I don't know if I'd say simpler, but like as you're taking the actions themselves are a simpler thing. You're still kind of thinking things out and trying to do certain things, so it's definitely strategic. But actually doing the action pieces, I don't know that there was anything to it that's like extremely difficult to understand or anything.
No, pretty easy to catch on to the game, I think.
But yeah, so then we got our one gameplay of it in, and I really enjoyed what we did there, because you're just going around and collecting these different colors, because it's a tracks game as well, which is really fun, and each color kind of starts at a different distance away from like a actual point track that you're trying to get to, and actually then you'll take kind of where your lowest one out of all these different colors is multiplied by kind of another number that's determined by kind of another track.
It's a very kind of complicated.
That part is complicated.
Steps to the kind of end game and manipulating those tracks
that would be the
to
hardest
find your
part,
final score. But actually, like moving them up and things like that, that's pretty simple, and you can. You don't have to really think about the end game too much. You just kind of try to get your lower ones up higher.
Right. But yeah, that would be a piece that I would think is probably the hardest, just that end game scoring to make sure you do that just right. But yeah, getting them up those tracks.
It's easier in practice than it is kind of. 'Cause I know I was listening to a video on how it played, and I was just lagging way behind. I was sentences back trying to figure out, wait, what?
So
and then he just
trading
keeps
these
going
in
and keeps going. And then determined by where your brewmaster is here, this will determine the multiplier, and then the ratio of these, and you'll turn your lowest into your highest, and I'm like, what is going on here?
Right.
I think Reiner Knizia designed this.
The doctor had a formula figured out on how this was going to work.
But it makes sense, kind of, once you get there.
Yeah, so yeah, laying those, and then kind of there's multiple different goals.
Yep.
I think is it 10 different goals, 12, however many there are.
Yeah, 10 or 12.
That everyone's kind of going for there in every single game. So it kind of some of them kind of make you do things you might not necessarily always go for.
Yeah.
But it's really cool that it kind of rewards you for going for some things that are sometimes a little more difficult to do. Because I think like one of them you had to get like a bunch of value 5s or 6s or something, which are really expensive because money is quite tight in the game. At least until maybe towards the very end, you might have a little bit more of a surplus of cash. But for most of the game, it's going to be pretty tight.
Yeah, I really like, and kind of the whole placement of the two sides of your maps. Kind of, you have a dark side and a light side, and to place a tile, you kind of go on this rondel, and you stop at a spot, and you can pay the value on the tile to place on your dark side, and then when you end up activating that later on, it will produce money.
For its value.
And then if you place it on the light side, you have to pay twice the cost. But then when that produces, it's actually going to produce that colored resource, which is those tracks that we were talking about for actually points and winning the game. So it's kind of really interesting to decide whether you want to get your money set up, or if you're like, if I can get this 5 production with the resource, but that's going to cost me 10 coins to put it over there. And it's like, to activate it, you kind of want to put more things around there, so if I'm going to activate that, I'm going to want to build more things over there, which is going to be even more expensive. But it's like, I really have to do this. Money, there were times when money was really tight, and there were times when if you do get that good production of money, it can just be like just swimming in the coin.
Which is extremely satisfying. I think the whole activation part is really fun and unique as well, where kind of the one of them allows you to trigger every single of the same number. So if you kind of wait a little bit into the game and have a bunch of 5s or something, you can go on that, and you can only do it once. So that is the really neat thing. Because you want to get a lot of these like activations in, but once you do them, that's the only time you can do it the whole game.
So it's like, and there's like a ton of different ways to do it. It's like, you can activate each color, you can activate a number, you can activate
the monks
that activate things around them. Just a lot of different ways to activate things multiple times.
Which is extremely satisfying, and then kind of you get bonuses based on where those activations are as well. So there's just a lot of fun things that come together just really, really well, I think. I really like that. And some of those too, the part of that activation thing I think that's so fun is that sometimes you've got, usually if you're activating a color or a number or a monk, you might have one more thing or one more of that color or one more of that number.
Like coming up
that you could pick up and then activate, but then it's like, but then if I wait, or if I activate now, I can maybe still get that tile, maybe another one that I really would like. But if I take that tile now, or based on how you do it, someone else might take that I want. So should I just activate it now and be done with it, or is it worth doing that one extra turn that's gonna force me to?
It's when you kind of see the board kind of reset up and the order of things, and it's like, the tile that I really want is so late in the rondel, and there's only like one more spot after that I can use to activate this, and it's like, do I want to do that, or should I just activate it now? Be safe.
Exactly. Or sometimes you might need money, so it's just like, I really don't want to activate it yet, but I really need money right now, otherwise I'm going to have to skip all these tiles just to go, wait. So, it makes for some really fun decisions.
And then you can also, another way to activate things is kind of similar to Honey Buzz, where there are these spots on the board where if you completely surround them, you add the values of all the tokens around them, and that determines kind of how many of the spots
Get activated.
around that spot get activated. And if you get higher, you activate more spots. But if you're lower, you activate less spots, or maybe even no spots, but you get a lot of movement for your Brewmaster, which is kind of what determines your multiplier at the end and the ratio at which you trade resources to kind of move up your lower ones on the track. So it's like, do I want to get a very low surrounding this one and move that Brewmaster up, or high and just produce a lot of stuff?
Right. Yeah.
It's really cool to try to find. And I did kind of one a couple of each, and it was like both of them were equally satisfying.
Yeah. Yeah. I that's what I'd say a lot about this game is just almost everything you kind of do is satisfying.
Yeah, just a lot of rewards. And another thing with the kind of barrels, like the scoring, you go there to achieve an achievement that you fulfilled, and you can take all of them that you qualify for.
Yes.
So you're freaking getting 4 or 5 at a time, because we both did it like right at the end of the game, and we just got a ton of
All these
achievements.
achievements
And
at
it's
once.
again, so satisfying.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I would put this one at kind of disappointed we haven't gotten back to playing it again. Because I'd put it at a probably 9.5. I really liked the play of this one. I really wanted to play it right away after we played it the first time. Because it's just a lot of fun stuff in there.
Yeah, I'm a little below that, but I'd say 8.5 to a 9. So just like almost there. But again, just kind of like the high cost to some of those tiles.
Right.
And there was one round where I started off with like no money, and I'm like, I gotta skip so many spots to just produce money, and I just feel like there can be those moments in there.
Right.
But I mean, there's those moments in every game where you can get caught, but there's just so much good stuff to this game. I really, really enjoyed it and cannot wait to play it more.
I would 100% agree, and I would definitely look at this one, check it out a little bit more, see if it's for you. Because I'd highly recommend this game for sure. I don't know how easy it is to get. Did get this from our local game store, and this is definitely an older version of it, because this is Eggertfield's older logo. I think they may have had
Winking Fox.
one, if not 2, logos after this. It might have just been one different one, but yeah, it's a solid game. I would definitely recommend it. But yeah, if you want to see some of our other first impression videos, definitely check out our channel, see what else we got. But otherwise, we hope to see you on the next one. And as always, don't forget to
keep on nibbling
on our content and drinking that ale.